To be joined by Clare County Council CEO Pat Dowling, part 2 of our Road to Recovery series. Pat, thanks a lot for joining us. Just generally speaking, Pat, we're obviously living through very, very uncertain times, very extreme times, and the Council obviously doing your best to adapt.
Absolutely. I suppose for us, it has been a harsh lesson of reality for the last 11-12 weeks. And as you know, we're following the roadmap, the government roadmap, as we speak. We've had to take some difficult decisions, but I think particularly I felt our focus had to be around trying to provide leadership around the county. So with the Gardaí, with the HSE, we meet, we collaborate a lot, and we're forever appealing to the public to try and adhere to the restrictions as much as possible, because the scale of this is unprecedented, as everybody is saying. It's a 10% drop in GDP, unemployment rate of 25%, unimaginable as we went into the new year. So the scale of the problem is huge, but we'll get there. And I think the people of Clare, and we can see it on the metrics, the people of Clare have played a major role and have done their very, very best. But we're not finished yet. And people talk a lot about a road to recovery. I mean, this is going to be a slow recovery. It's not a magic potion to fix the problem, far from it. So I think we've a long way ahead.
In a sense, Pat, we're approaching a tricky period now in that, as you said, we've been in lockdown for several weeks at this stage. People are getting, I suppose, slightly impatient, but I suppose the key thing is that as a county that we try to stay a bit patient, try to stay with it as much as we can, and hopefully get through it both in terms of health but also economically.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the trick here lies in, persevering through it all and going with the roadmap. And I think the roadmap isn't just a set of dates. It's a clear progressive sequence of events while we monitor the infection rate. And when it looks at, various businesses reopening, our library services opening, our public counters and the council offices reopening, they're all being done under very careful planning in advance. So it's crucial, absolutely crucial, that we get to the 10th of August timeline on schedule, and that we have still managed to control this infection during that time. Because a roadmap is there for a reason, and some might choose to try and take an alternative road, but they won't get to the destination that way. This is the roadmap of the state, and I think it's one that everybody should try and adhere to.
If there has been a plus, Pat, amidst all this, the weather has been fantastic, but in a sense that does bring other additional challenges as well, in that obviously, like the bank holiday weekend, there might be a temptation for people to have headed to the coast or whatever. How have you found that? How did you find the bank holiday weekend generally in terms of?
Yeah, and the last 2 bank holiday weekends were a challenge, and you would have seen, and with your own assistance, Peter, and I thank all the media and Clare for working closely with us. We put a big push in to try and urge the public to restrain from the temptation of travelling. And the weather is fine. Thankfully, it's great that it is. But I think by and large, and I observed it myself this weekend past in West Clare, people exercise due caution by and large.
You mentioned business. Obviously, a range of businesses across the county have been very adversely affected. There are some business supports available for most businesses from within the council and the Leo office.
Yeah, there are obviously a lot of the applications for supports have been oversubscribed at this stage. The numbers are quite large, and that's okay. Monies will be made available. But if you take the Restart grant that was announced only last week, we're administering that, and we currently have over 600 applications within 5 working days across the county. Now, a lot of those will be from the tourism, pub, restaurant sectors, generally speaking. And what it is, it's a little grant on the basis of rates that would have been liable for in 2019 to help them to prepare to reopen in the context of that roadmap. So we're administering that, and I want to assure businesses across the county that I'll get that money out as soon as we're in funds from government on it. So we're processing the applications at the moment. We'll be approving them and we'll be issuing payments as soon as is at all possible. That's that one. Obviously, as you know, there has been a waiver of commercial rates for businesses. That matter is still under review by central government because I think the impact on businesses isn't just the period of the COVID shutdown or lockdown. It has long-lasting impacts from the point of view of their ability to pay. So I think that matter is under review. As you mentioned, the local enterprise office has a range of supports as well, and those online vouchers have been so popular, they are oversubscribed, but we're awaiting notification from the Department of Communications around funding for that. So I think we are working on a number of fronts. Could I say as well, Peter, I mean, Clare has to be responsible for its own recovery to a degree also. It will be a national, European, international response economically across the globe. But we will be putting together a very high-level task group within the county. We're working on it at the moment, comprising public and private sector businesses to work together to say, what can we do extra to help our own business across the county? And one of those sectors, which will be very important for us, is the tourism sector, obviously. It's a very important one for us. And we have already agreed a group with Fáilte Ireland to begin to look at getting destinations ready that they might open up again in due course.
And that is pivotal because so much of the county is dependent on that. I suppose another aspect, Pat, as well is broadband. I know it's a national issue as well, that the whole kind of change towards remote working, it's now seen as maybe much more feasible than it might have been 3 months ago. Is that an area that the council in the long term might look towards in terms of possibly marketing Clare as the type of place where you could work remotely from?
Oh, absolutely, and not that one wants to find opportunity in a crisis, but definitely this is an opportunity in a crisis, Peter, and I think we already, our innovation hubs across the county are reopening from next Monday the 8th. Now we're reducing the spaces to ensure social distancing, but they are going to be able to work back remotely into these hubs again, which is good to hear. And yes, significant number of our staff are working remotely at the moment. It is my ambition that they will continue to do so. And then on a bigger issue, within our rural development strategy, we have rural repopulation, working from home as a key strategy. We're going to make every effort to try and exploit what is now seen to be the new way of working. And I think rural West Clare, rural Clare must and should benefit as a result of this.
And Pat, just finally, in terms of the elected members, the municipal districts some of the municipal districts have met inside the last week or so. The full council is due to meet next Monday. They're presumably, along with yourselves, doing their best to represent what they're hearing on the ground and to bring that to the executive.
Oh, absolutely, Peter. And I mean, all the 28 elected members, we have been engaging with them on a daily basis, weekly basis, right throughout this crisis. And it is more difficult, of course, because they're coming from 28 different locations around the county. And we've had to be very, very careful when, on the one hand, where we're urging the public to adhere to the guidelines, maintain social distancing, that we couldn't meet in large congregations. So it has been difficult. And I know the elected members, I mean, this is their bread and butter. They put huge effort into serving their communities across the county, and the Áras symbolises that for them. So it's been difficult for them not being able to come and go as they were used to. But we are trying to regain some level of normality from next week, as you say. We have a full council meeting next week in Glore, because we cannot ensure social distancing in the council chamber for now, and that will probably continue for a while into the future. As well as that, the MDs have begun to meet, strategic policy committees are commencing to meet again. So that's all happening again, which is good to see, but obviously it's being done in a way where we have to guarantee all the precautions are being taken. And that makes it a little trickier to organise, but we're trying to, facilitate their needs as much as possible.
And Pat, just very finally, do you see challenges for the council in terms of provision of services? Obviously this has been a very challenging time for every council across the country. Will we see issues as regards some services possibly in, 12 to 18 months time, because it might be impossible for the council to finance everything that you would like to finance?
Yeah, the local government sector is facing a significant reduction in income for 2020. The scale of the loss of income to us in Clare is quite significant. So it'll be very difficult not to win the year across all local authorities and in Clare, but be in a significant deficit situation. So that's what I'm facing, while trying to be positive and upbeat about we have to go forward. Financially, we need the resources to provide the services. That being said, and subject to government backing us, we will make every effort to retain all our services across the board. The timeline around when they become fully active again will vary, but by and large I'm keen that, as regards the public out there, that Clare County Council continues to be an ally and a friend and keep providing as many services as we possibly can. That's crucial, because the future is out there for us to exploit. It might be a bit different, as everybody is saying, but the future is there, and I want to make sure that Clare County Council are working hard to make that a good future for the people of Clare.
That's great, Pat, and thanks indeed for joining us on Road to Recovery.
Thanks, Peter.
Great, Pat.